Good morning, everybody. My name is Samantha Mirabal with Melka's application team doing our DesignShop talk today. If you have questions while we're live, please type them in the chat. Don't send them to me privately. I have another monitor off to my side where I've got the chats going, so hopefully I can see them and get any questions you have answered while we're live. Let me quick do a check and make sure both YouTube, there's YouTube, and there's Facebook. It looks like both of them are up, so we are good to go. So I'll start off with the questions that were sent in ahead of time. Like I said, if you have questions when we're live, type them in on the chats and I will see what I can do. My sound is working. Excellent. All right. So, question, is it possible to broadcast in 1080p or higher? I'm trying it today. I don't know. I dug through settings on the little broadcast app we use, and I think it's set to 1080. Hopefully it is. So hopefully that helps. If I'll look at it afterwards to see what it actually did, but settings say it does. I'll be honest, someone else set all this. Someone set all of it up for me a long time ago, and I just haven't changed anything. Rusty asks, do I do digitizing for companies? No. So I keep... Oh, it is. Excellent. So Kyle says my 1080 is working. Excellent. So do I digitize for other companies? No. On occasion I have, but for the most part, I keep busy enough that I don't bother doing any of that for outside stuff between my own digitizing. That keeps me entertained enough to not want to take on other things. So no, Rusty, sorry. All right, so let's see. I attached a file. It's a logo I'm digitizing. I ran it. It was great. I'm redoing it, outlining as it. Good. Okay, so we're working on things we've learned. Cool. One area I struggle is stitch order. Step 12 is a complex fill connected with a walk stitch. And step 13, walk normal. Step 14 is another fill. All should be a one step. I can't combine them. Okay, so when I went to go combine those, so you're talking about these here, right? So what I did is I went and opened them up to look at them, just double checking, right? So that one starts there, ends there. This one starts where the propeller is, ends there. So cool. This little guy right there merges it into the step above. So now all of these are one step, no trim, and I can update auto trims and see that that's correct. This guy here, again, I can throw that into that one, and now they're all the same color, and they also is one. If I update my auto trims, poof, done. So now they're all together, and that sews as one step with no trims. Cool. So it's these little icons over here, merge them into the step above it. Okay. Let's see. Let me read the rest of that question in case. Yeah. So I think that combines them all for you. Awesome. All right. I digitized this one. Honestly, I couldn't quite follow. I copied it because it was submitted. I digitized a 3D logo. All right, so you got a logo back from a digitizer in DST and EXP. When you put it into OS, you can't set the 3D settings in the box. It's now not available. Normally it always is. Honestly, I have no idea because it should be load a file, click on the step, up the active feed, or click the button. So over here, let me find that. So I would come over here, let's say it was step 3. I would click on 3 and then choose what puff I want, 2 or 3, and that will automatically up my active feed settings. The other option you would have is to put hold between, if 3 is my puff step, between 2 and 3. If I put a hold, then when I go set my actual active feed setting, where are those? Right here. I could take this minimum preset and up that to 30 or 25, whatever you use for your particular puff. So those are the kind of the two ways you can manage it. Either use the puff setting that's built in or do it yourself by just upping the minimum preset. So these settings are selected when you click on the color. So if you select that, then it'll be available to check. But if you just load a file and try to click these, it won't work until you select what color you want to apply it to. Okay. Same with the puff. You select the color you want to apply it to, and then you can put the puff settings on those. So same thing. So I apologize if this active feed on 30 and it breaks consistently. Make sure that's the minimum preset and not the actual number, because the number will change. It always goes back to that minimum presets. Thread always breaking, check your speed. It may need more active feed. You'll want to check your needle, that it's oriented correctly. You'll also want to check your presser foot, that it's not all the way down. So if your presser foot's too low, you'll break needles, you'll break threads, not good things happen, right? So particularly when you're doing puff, you want to pick up that presser foot all the way. And that's, if you haven't done that before, on the back of the needle case, behind it, if you reach around on the left side, there's a gear that rotates the presser foot up and down. You'll only see it moving when the needle is down, so you can e-stop it, lower the needle, and then when you move that, you can watch the presser foot go up and down as you rotate that gear. Okay. Those were the only questions submitted. So what other questions did you guys have? I'll kind of hang out for a second to see what you want to go over. I'm going to close this and reopen it because I have one other way to show you to merge those. That way they're all goofy again. I could also select these three with a shift and then pick a color, and it merges them all together. See that? So undo. If I select 1 and 2 holding my control key and then click what color I want it to be, it merges them together. Those two, select them, click, merges it. Another way, if I undo that, I can turn on auto merge. Not sure you want to do that because see all these, there are 4 colors. It's all the 4 the same color. When I turn on auto merge, it's going to combine them all. So anytime you have the same color on top of each other, it will auto merge it. If you want that, great, but it's not something that's you can undo. So I can hit undo all I want and it's not going to go back. I would have to close it and reopen it. So if you're, or go sort it again. What would that be the reason you're getting thread breaks on puff if you've checked everything else? So presser foot down, active feed might be too low, the wrong needle, so, or a burr on the needle, right? So depending on the age of the needle, that might be an issue. But yeah, if your active feed's low or your presser foot is jamming into things, not good things happen. So yeah, that's definitely something to look at. I'm always asking about tiny single line stitches. This logo requires them. Do you like the way it's done? Let's see. Do you have a step number that you want me to look at? Paul, that one's interesting. You're making me scratch my head. Can you disable thread break detection in simplified? I honestly have no idea. I would have to go research that myself and play with it. I use the advanced personally, so I could tell you all from the top of my head everything about advanced, but the simplified, that one, I assume you can, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so tiny, I'm looking, sorry. So this is, the question was, do I like how it's done, or would I do something different with Birmingham? So I'm looking at this down here, and I don't know that I would do it different, because this will end up looking pointy because of how the thread is. It's not too overlapped here. I mean, I personally would do it manually, but that's just a personal preference. There's nothing wrong with what I see here. No, I think that actually would sew well. It would sew out pretty decent, and it would give you a pointy look, just like this. I would run a single line or like a running stitch out and then come back, but that's a me thing. There's nothing wrong with how it's done here. That's just a preference I like. To get a sharp point, I would run a single line out there, like not a single line, a walk normal out, and then I would back up through the satin stitches, which is essentially what that's doing. So no, I think it looks good. I would have to sew it to study it more, but I mean, I don't see anything glaring that says danger, Will Robinson. I'm still staring, sorry. What other questions do you have? Ah, yes. All right, so you did do it manually. I guess I could have seen that had I actually looked over here. No, I like it. Well, all right, when I say manually, I would cut this, do a walk stitch down, and then come back up, but it's the same difference. So like I said, what you have here is good. And switching to 60 weight thread, absolutely. So 60 weight thread, particularly on small details, helps a lot when things are very narrow and things like that. Yeah, no problem, Kyle. I'm glad I'm helpful. Try to be. So, no, this looks pretty nice. This thing, you have it line to line. I would overlap it. That's just a personal preference. I mean, you got a gap there on the blue. I would get rid of that and make overlaps because that's going to end up being a space. But again, that's in the noise, right? The overlap on this guy. Technically, whenever I do these things, I sew the snake right on top of the fill. I don't bother cutting holes in it. I find the savings of stitches doesn't really help. That, again, is a personal preference. I do a lot of these sort of things. So I'll do the snake right on top of the fill rather than induce shift where I might end up not having this, if I don't hoop well, not having it all covered. So I think those are the only things just clicking that I see. What other questions do you guys have? All right, let me scroll back up to see if I missed any. So Rusty, I got that one. I did that. Paul, I will have to get back to you on the simplified OS thread break detection. I don't have that on this computer to be able to look it up or to mess with it. So only thing I can do is find out for next week. So I'm sorry. That one, you got me. I like being caught. That's cool. What other questions do we have? I like the running stitches for the detail on the pants. That's cool. And I like that yellow better, but that's me being silly. All right, what other questions? I don't see any others, so I guess we're gonna possibly have a short day. So don't forget, just in case someone's typing in front, I'm gonna do this. Don't forget we have this form where you guys can fill out questions as the week goes on. So you run across one of these talks and you have a question and we're not live, cool, type it in on the form and submit it. I pull them up every week. That's where I get these questions from. So it'll be there waiting. So next time we go have a talk, I will have hopefully answers. If you have examples of stuff you want me to look at, put them there as well, because it lets me download them and look at them, and just like that one that was sent over. So yeah, feel free to send in whatever questions you might have, and we'll see about getting them addressed. And like I said, I did try something different with the broadcast to change the resolution, so hopefully that is working well. I'll have to look at it after fact, but yeah. All right, everyone. You guys have a fantastic weekend. This starts my month of regattas. So, yeah, I think every weekend I have some form of race starting this weekend. So, it'll be fun. All right. I will talk to you next week, next Thursday. And have fun sewing. Let us know what you want to learn, and we'll try to get it covered. All right. Bye, everyone.